Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the channel, or welcome to the channel. I always have to remember to say in case you're just landing here. Hope you stick around. I'm a Fefe with Touch by Tarot and Beyond. Clearly, I'm a tarot reader, but I'm also, again, if you're not familiar with me, I'm a former newspaper journalist and I'm an initiated priestess in both Wiccan and African traditions. So I mix it up a little bit and I come here and we do mostly political topics. For my membership, I get into more spiritual topics, and so please check out that. It's in the description box below if you want to check out my membership. I also meet privately once a month on a private Zoom call with members, and we chop it up, get into all sorts of topics. So if you're interested in that, I keep it off the platform because I want to make it private where we can get loose and do our thing and feel protected and safe. So if you're interested in that, please join my membership. I'd love to have you. We will be meeting. We meet once a month on a Sunday, and we will be meeting this Sunday, the 3rd. Okay, so if you're interested in that, check out the description box below. I'd love to have you on board for that. Last thing in terms of announcements, on May 9th, I'm doing a Zoom live workshop, but it'll be recorded, on how to protect your energy in these chaotic times. All right, would love to have you on board for that. Link to that below as well, or you can just go to my website, trulytouchedbytarot.com. Trulytouchedbytarot.com. Check the book online page and you'll see the workshop for May 9th. All right, let's get into some things, you all. This is all going to be sort of Epstein related today. This King Charles and Camilla visit, but let's focus on King Charles. The King Charles visit. What's that really about, right? He does not. All of the pundits are saying, well, maybe this was really about trying to smooth over relations with somebody said Cheeto I like it. All right, I hope you don't mind me using that Cheeto. We know who we're talking about. So King Charles decided to meet with Cheeto. For what? Why now? Hasn't been here in forever, right? Doesn't dictate foreign policy. So even though there's these tensions with Keir Starmer, who is, taking that stance in regards to the Iran war, as are many other European nations. So like, what's the point? What is King Charles going to go back and do? Tell Keir Starmer, here's what I need you to do? That's not the point. Is he here? Is the primary reason for his visit having something to do with Andrew, and the idea that Andrew kicked out the royal family, from what we understand, is not receiving his stipend or however they work things out. Like, he's over there scrambling, trying to figure out what to do with his life. He's under investigation. He was arrested, as many of you know, and he was placed under investigation for whatever he did in connection to Epstein. But so far as I know, no actual charges have been filed against him. So he's just sort of out there in limbo, trying to figure out what his next moves are. Could that entail like a tell-all? Is he going to testify in some way and give up the goods regarding Cheeto and many others who no doubt are named in the Epstein files, right? So was this an opportunity for King Charles to come over and Cheeto is basically saying, listen, we know you're on the outs with your brother, but we also need you to keep your brother in check as it relates to the folks over here, me, Cheeto and whomever else might be named in those files who have not been pronounced yet. Spirit, please show us the truth around King Charles's visit. Does it relate to something around Andrew and keeping Andrew quiet? Seven of Pentacles comes at the bottom of the deck with the High Priestess. I never ignore Major Arcana. Secrets, right? Very often can indicate secrets, things that have not yet been revealed. Strategy around when to reveal or how things get told, how the truth comes out. With the Seven of Pentacles, very much a card of assessment. So you best believe that Cheeto and King Charles are having or have had some conversations during this visit around Andrew and what to do about Andrew. Spirit, is Andrew thinking of a tell-all, to save himself? What's he doing for money, right? What's he doing for money? Is Andrew the Four of Cups, Right now, he's just very disappointed. And the Eight of Pentacles, he's thinking about, how do I survive? This is a man who's been a royal all his life with all those privileges, accustomed to leading an extremely different lifestyle. And now he's being told, hey, just go somewhere and sit down. You've been a bad boy. Don't expect a dime from us, and that's gonna fly. No. So the Four of Cups, he's still feeling. This is Andrew. This indicates he's sitting there feeling, on the one hand, yeah, I did what I did, but on the other hand, I ain't the only one who did what I did. How did this happen to me, and what am I going to do about it? Eight of Pentacles. That is a card of working on something, putting something together. Spirit, is Andrew planning a tell-all, either a book or something that gives his side of the story that would be financially good for him? The Three of Swords, that actually feels like a yes to me, you all, because of course the gist of whatever he does, if it's a book or whatever, the gist of it would be, I'm so sorry, I was so wrong, I can't believe, da 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 da. Is that a lot of why King Charles came here, to try and reassure Chitolini? We'll work to keep that from happening. The Ten of Pentacles. Let's face it, Andrew knows all the names. He was in all the rooms. He knows all the deals. So the Ten of Pentacles is, I think there was some sort of, on the surface, everyone's, we've been told that Andrew's been completely cut off by the royal family. He's not getting his stipend. Of course, he lost his title. All of that, I understand. His housing now is considered regular, not royal. But there is, Spirit is showing with that Ten of Pentacles, there's something where Andrew, in exchange for his silence, Five of Pentacles, he needs money, and they know he needs money. Spirit, did Chitolini talk to King Charles about financial support for Andrew in exchange for his silence? Is that what this is about? I'm sorry. Seven of Swords, deception, right? So the real idea, oh, he's here just to make nice and try to smooth over relationships between the U.S. and the U.K. Come on. Not so. Is this about keeping him silent? The Four of Wands. Let's work together in a commitment. Knight of Emotions, Knight of Cups. Moving forward, as this relates to, how does this relate to Andrew? Moving forward, a commitment to Andrew, and the Nine of Cups. It's about, what can you do? Part of what Chitolini is saying to King Charles, what I'm getting is, how do we, my wishes, which is, this can never come out about me. Andrew can never talk about me, and he needs to keep his mouth shut about whomever on this end of things, right? So that's the desired wish. Moving forward on that wish in the Knight of Cups, and the Four of Wands is some sort of commitment. And the Ace of Swords. Spirit always gives me my aces when I'm on track, if I'm getting it right. So there is, and in Swords, there is for sure a conversation that is being had or has been had between the two of these men, Chitolini and King Charles, relative to what to do about Andrew. Now, the quandary here, why I think I'm not getting a direct answer around money to keep Andrew silent, is because where's that money going to come from that it's not traceable? And the royal family has already come out and said, we don't want any parts of you because of what you did. The Spirit is like on my shoulder tapping, like, not to mention, King Charles had his day in the news, right, with the whole Princess Diana and Camilla thing. But Camilla got her man, huh? So there's that. How we can't just haul off and change our mind and let it be known that we will support Andrew for the sake of keeping perpetrators in around Epstein, protected. We can't do that. Spirit, are they? So is that why we started out with the high priestess? Are they trying to figure out a way to help silence Andrew by helping him financially? But they got to figure out how to do it. Doggone if spirit ain't being clear. The magician. There you have it. The magician. So that's it. They're trying to figure out how do we help him, essentially keep him silent, so that he's not in utter desperation, which could result in a tell-all. How do we keep him silent, but also not have it traceable? Okay, it can't appear that the royal family is facilitating his financial, because the whole point was we snatched everything from you, we kicked you out, we don't want any parts of this, right? And financially, you can't have Chitolini or this end of the administration seen as paying Andrew anything, because what does that look like? An out and out bribe, right? So that's the quandary. That's the quandary. And that's also why I think he visited versus having anything traceable, any sort of correspondence, phone calls, anything traceable. The chariot. That's what that's what this trip was about, you all. In large part. I'm not saying that there were no conversations around relationships between the two countries, but the bottom line is, King Charles can't go back. Keir Starmer is the prime minister. King Charles cannot go back and dictate to Keir Starmer what his moves are going to be. So foreign relations was not the key thing here. This had a lot to do with what they are going to do about Andrew, who again at this point has not been charged, does not want to be charged. Clearly, he's not trying to go behind bars. Spirit, and let's ask that to close this reading out. Spirit, will Andrew remain free? I know he's still under investigation. Will he remain free? Seven of Swords just popped back out. This is him under investigation for his role. Will he remain free? And I'm hearing as well that could be part of what Chitolini is telling King Charles is you can help stop the prosecution of him over and above or outside of the finances that he gets. The 10 of Swords. Because that indicates maybe he will be prosecuted. Will he be prosecuted? The 5 of Cups. The Lovers, a decision. The 10 of Wands, a breaking point. The 3 of Cups, people celebrating his downfall. And the 2 of Pentacles, that feels like a deal being struck. And see, part of what the Page of Voices, a deal being struck. Because part of what that deal could even be is to avoid jail time or serious consequences. We need you to tell us. We need you to name names. We need you to tell us, do what needs to be done in some form of official testimony. So that's the quandary. That's the quandary. And that has a lot to do with what this meeting was about. Is one, figure out a way to slow down prosecution or somehow make it go away so that he's not, Andrew is not forced to testify and name names or perjure himself. And also to keep his silence, what are we going to do? What's going to have to happen to make sure that he's taken care of? Keep your eye on that. All right, you all want to move to the second thing Spirit brought me to today. The Zoro Ranch in New Mexico, right? Epstein's, and all that we were learning about bodies and grave plots, and now we're learning more. We knew for a long time, the stories have been out there. This was not just about girls and women. This was also about men and boys. So there's a lot of that coming out in relation to Zoro Ranch as well. New Mexico officials have been saying we'll go excavate, we'll go find if there are bodies there, we're going to handle that. That's still in the works from what I understand. What I did not know, and not sure if some of you did, is that there were plans before this excavation situation with New Mexico and the county officials. There were plans to turn Zoro Ranch into a Christian retreat. Like, my jaw dropped. So it was bought. The ranch was purchased. 7,500 acres. The ranch was purchased in 2023 by this family out of Texas, related to this Don Huffins. I may be pronouncing his last name wrong. Don Huffins is he's out of Texas. He's a former GOP senator, and he is currently running for 2026. He's currently running for the Texas Comptroller's office, right? His family is deeply connected into, I think, the automotive industry, whatever. Money, generations of money. So they apparently bought at public auction. They bought the ranch in 2023, non-disclosed sum. We don't know how much for, or I haven't been able to find it. But this family is saying that the word is that the proceeds from that sale went to the Epstein survivors. Not sure about all that, but that their intention was to turn this, and of course it's no longer Zorro Ranch. Now they renamed it the Rancho de San Rafael. So Rancho de San Rafael, their intention is to turn it into a Christian retreat. Spirit. Is that going to go through? Will they, the horrors, right? So the Three of Cups, that's, but also the Wheel of Fortune, karma. So that was their true desire. They were looking at a way to, I just got it. Thank you, Spirit. Dang. This family was looking at a way to capitalize off of what was a landmark property for all the wrong reasons that everybody knows about, rename it, reclaim it, turn it into this so-called Christian retreat. That was the plan, but Mama Karma has intervened and said, I don't know about all that. Because think about that. So for right now, we understand that New Mexico state officials have told the Huffins family to halt any construction or any revamping of that property while they continue their investigation. Spirit, will the family have to walk away from this project? The Ten of Pentacles, they're already deeply invested. Eight of Pentacles, their determination to see the project through. But the Five of Pentacles, it's somehow it hits a hitch. They're either going to run out of money, or because of this excavation that the state of New Mexico certainly has the right to do, now the land and the whatever's going on around this property, how much more would this Huffins family have to invest in order to continue their desire to turn this, or plans to turn this, into a Christian retreat? Spirit, is this going to go bye-bye? Ten of we call it voices in this deck. Ten of Swords. Yeah, they recognize they're kind of cooked between the Wheel of Fortune and karma coming for this. So everything, because remember, they purchased this land in 2023 before a lot of this came out, before Cittadini got back in office, the Epstein, all that we've seen come out around the Epstein files, they purchased this land prior to that. So now they're realizing this is not going to probably happen. The Knight of Pentacles, so how do we move the property? Are they going to sell it? Is this Huffins family going to walk away from this project and try to sell that land? The Magician, they're going to try and get out of it. They're going to try and figure out some way to offload it. Because at this point, with everything that has come out, a Christian retreat behind everything now that is known and still being discovered around what really happened there, no way. No way, no how. So, not sorry for them. But just the very idea that this family thought that they were going to be able to go on this property, capitalize off of it because it is notorious, it is known, right? And spin it that some place that was really decadent and all this debauchery, that now you can come and connect with God. Like, Spirit said, no, not today. Not today, not tomorrow, not the day after that. All right, you all. I'll check in with you a little bit later. Remember, in the meantime, chin up, shoulders back. Always. Because when you do like that, that chin kind of automatically goes up, doesn't it? Keep remembering to breathe. Center yourself and breathe, right? Take good care of yourselves. Sky above you, always. Look up. Remember, say, connect, right? And earth beneath you, solid, holding you, right? All right. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.